I remember when I first met Garrett thinking, I don't know if we will date, but if we do, we'll probably get married. So we officially met in person at Lily's Breakfast Burritos.
I remember her telling me that if we ran into any of her friends at the place, that she was going to tell them that I was one of her friends from like home or something like that, because she was really embarrassed that she had signed up for online dating.
Garrett asked me on a scale of 1 to 10 how embarrassed was I that we met on eHarmony, and I said like an 11, and he said me too. So we made up this story about how we met.
And I was embarrassed too, so I agreed. She made me sin the way that Eve made Adam sin. So I confessed that sin before you now.
No, I just told them that I met him when I was nannying in Malibu, because he surfed in Malibu.
After we had our first date, we started talking on the phone a lot and texting.
Yeah, I think he called me at least once a week and we talked for a few hours, but I was just so oblivious to the fact that he might like me.
Then she ended up flying back down to LA, and she had kind of had this really long layover. So she kind of jokingly texted me and said, hey, it'd be cool if we could hang out during my layover. And I was like, ooh, this is my chance. And so I took her to the Grove and we walked around, and then we went to the farmer's market, and neither of us had eaten dinner, so we ended up kind of like walking around the farmer's market and kind of like getting a little bit here, a little bit there, and then after that we kind of started making our way back towards the car because we knew that she had to get her flight. But we like stopped at every single heater on the road on the way back to the parking lot. We just kind of talked until like that restaurant closed, and then they turned off the heater, and so then we had to go to the next heater. And it took us like an hour or two to get back to the car.
So Garrett drove me back to the airport, and when he dropped me off, I was walking away, going to my terminal, and he called out to me and he said, no, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but I just really want to tell you that I like you. And I was like, really? I like you too! And so I ran over and we hugged, and then the police people were like, this is a loading and unloading zone only. And so we were like, okay, bye. And after that, we started dating long distance from the very beginning. Garrett proposed to me on my birthday.
And so I remember Shannon really liked surprises, but she's also really good at guessing surprises, and so I had to figure out a way of surprising her without letting her know that the surprise was going to happen.
Then he just was acting like he was throwing this big birthday party for me.
And I told her that for her birthday I'd invited all of her friends to come, and we were going to eat at the farmer's market. Little did she know that the farmer's market was already closed and the Grove was closing because she was gotten in kind of late, and none of her friends were coming, and had this elaborate plan to roast her. But first I was going to make it the worst birthday ever.
He, first of all, didn't even call me in the morning to wish me happy birthday. He left me a Facebook post, like a stranger. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is for real? Like, we'd been dating for 2 years. And I was just like, whatever, it's my birthday, I don't want to be upset.
And so we get to the Grove, and I pretend like I didn't get her a birthday present, so I give her a card that had an IOU inside of it.
And so we're walking back, and I remember saying to Garrett, like looking at all these couples in love, and just feeling really sad because he like wasn't even holding my hand. So we go to the parking garage, and we're about to get in the car, and he just like zooms on ahead of me and opens his door, and I'm like, this is the worst. Like, it's my birthday. He didn't give me a present. The Grove is closed, and now he doesn't even open the door. Worst birthday ever. And so I go to get in the car, and he's like, oh my gosh, you look really sad. And so he comes around to my side, and so then he pulls out another card, and it has a piece of candy strapped to it. And it was a sympathy card, kind of like, sorry I'm so lame on your birthday and I forgot your present. Eat this chocolate, it'll make you feel better. And so he made me feel better and laughed, and it was cute, and I ate the chocolate. And so I'm laughing and I'm about to get in the car, and he's like, wait, do you feel better? Because I have to give you something else, but you have to feel better before I can give it to you. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. And so he hands me another card, and I'm really confused because I'm reading it and it's like a congratulations on your engagement card. And I get to the bottom and handwritten, he said, I love you, heads up. And I looked up and he was down on one knee, and I was just like, what, stop? And he's always joking with me. And so I thought, like, this is a joke. It's not funny. Like, you don't joke about a proposal. And he's like pulling out the ring, and I still am like, I'm totally ruining it. What he's saying, he's probably saying all this beautiful stuff, but I'm just like, stop, shut up, don't, it's not funny, get up. And then not until he opened the box and there's this light shining on this beautiful ring, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and I dropped to my knees and hugged him, and so it was perfect for us. And then the friends that supposedly were supposed to be at the Grove, he had them at the promenade waiting to celebrate, and it was perfect. After the proposal, we were in the car on the way to go celebrate with friends, and Garrett shared this amazing story with me.
So after I bought the ring and I was getting ready to propose to Shannon, I got an email from the missions organization that I was going to go to Japan with, and they let me know the actual date that I was flying out.
It was hard, you know, it became real that this is real and he's leaving, and for 2 years, and is this right? Is this what we're supposed to do? Why would God call us to be together and then take us apart?
And so that night I was at a worship event, and I remember kind of in the middle of the message calling out to God and saying, hey God, like, I don't feel you right now, and I'm scared, and I know you called me to go to Japan, and I know that you called me to be with Shannon, but I'm really afraid that this isn't going to work out. And so I asked God to really, that he needed to give me something. And so I was praying, and while I was praying, I just felt like he said, I'm going to give you courage and encouragement and perseverance for this next 2 years, and I'm going to give it to Shannon as well. And he said, when you propose, the wedding ring is your promise to her and it's her promise to you, but it's also my promise to both of you, that I'll sustain both of you and take care of both of you. And the guy next to me put his hand on me and he said, hey man, like, I just was wondering, do you have like a fiance or something like that? As soon as he said that, I just started to cry.
Garrett just, I guess, broke down, and he tells him that he's about to propose in 23 days and then leave to go to Japan.
I just asked him, I was like, why do you ask that? And he's like, well, you know, like, dude, like, you know, when we were worshiping during this entire event, in this vision in my head, in this picture in my head, I remember seeing just you and your fiance, and you guys were getting married, and it was the most beautiful wedding I ever saw, and it was by this lake.
So as I was talking with your friend, like, he was sitting next to me, I just got this, like, this picture in my head. It was him on his wedding day. And so, like, I brought it up to him, like, do you have a girlfriend? Like, do you have a fiance? And then he told me he's gonna propose in 23 days. So, like, that right there was just weird. It's like, that's more reassurance to him. And then, like, I saw, like, just this beautiful lake with the sun, like, just shining down on the water. Like, everything was perfect about it. And then I was walking in the streets, like, I just kept seeing in my mind, like, him on the wedding.
So Garrett's telling me all this story, and I just start crying because it was just such a reassurance, and I just know it was such a gift from God that he knew I needed that to hold on to. And so when Garrett left, it was hard for sure at first, and it got easier as we got used to that being the norm of being really far, and our schedules being different, and maybe not being able to talk all the time. But whenever it was hard, I just clung to that that gift that God gave us in this promise that He affirmed our relationship and our being engaged, and that it would be okay through a stranger at a worship event. And there's just been amazing little blessings like that all over the place. People we don't even know coming up to us and just telling us things like God is so in love with your obedience and what you're sacrificing for Him, and it's been fun.